My name is Makayla Cooper. I'm 20 years old, and I've been coming to Mountain View for 3 years. When I was 15, my parents decided to kind of pluck me out of what I was already doing in my hometown, and we moved in with some relatives about 30 minutes away from all of my friends. It was chaos, to say the least. There was fighting, a lot of fighting. It would turn from small bickering to full blowout argument that shook the walls of the house. I felt very alone because I was 30 minutes away from everyone I grew up with, and I had no idea how to handle this crazy big thing that was happening that I had nothing to do with, but still had everything to do with. I came to a point where I was so stressed and also so sad about what was happening that I kind of just shut down, and I started to get angry more than I got sad. I was angry about what was going on and about the fact that I had no way to control what was going on. I was mad. And so I started taking that out on other people, not in my home because I didn't want to add to the crazy, but I took it out on people at school. And then I started taking my anger out on myself because I was blaming myself for what was happening in my home and in my life. And I took that on myself by harming myself. It was the only thing I felt like I could control about the hurt that I was feeling. Is like, I have this hurt that's coming from an external source, and I have no control over it, so I'm going to control some of that hurt, and I'm going to do it myself. And I pushed my parents away, I pushed my siblings away, I pushed people that really cared about me away from me because I didn't want them to see what I knew was happening. I got a text from my mom, probably during third hour, and all it said was, "You need to turn in your textbooks to the bookstore because we're moving." Within a week, I was at a new school, and nothing changed. If anything, got a little bit worse. I started to lash out. There were a few times where I was physically violent. I would get angry and I would take my drum that I played and I would throw it off of me. Like, throw it far, and damage things. I broke a locker, just getting frustrated about something that was small. I started to get worse with how I treated myself. I definitely wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, and I was still cutting myself, and it was getting worse in the way that it was more often, and it was deeper, and I still didn't care. After going to this new school for a little bit, I developed a friendship with somebody who was in marching band with me. We were on drumline together. And they started inviting me to church, which I thought was weird because with the way I was acting, why would you even want me in your church with your friends? And eventually I said yes, just like, why not? He's very nice. This can't be that weird, right? I couldn't tell you most of what they talked about that night, but what I do remember is that they kept saying that God loved me. And they kept talking about this thing, this love that God has for you. And it was confusing, but it was still intriguing, and it still made me want to listen. That was the first time I'd ever heard it. That was the first time I'd ever heard someone say, God loves you. And it was the first time I'd ever felt something inside that was tugging at me to come closer. Because for so long now, I had this feeling of, God's not here. He doesn't care. If God loves me, then why is he letting this happen? And how can God love me if I don't love myself? I really feel like that small moment, it may have been a small moment in someone else's life that they don't remember, but it's a very big moment for me. And it changed the trajectory of everything else. God started to chip away at my shell that I had built up. He started to show me what life could really be like. And I started to transition from darkness to light and from isolation to community. And he started to show me that I matter. and that he cares, and that what I'm doing, it's not for nothing. I've come to know him and know that my life matters, not because of anything I've done, not because of anything that I know, not because of anything that I could say, but because it just matters and that God loves me.